All right, welcome to another episode of Expand Your Brand. We welcome on a very special guest. He is Jordan Pettway. He works for Barstool and he does social media for Barstool. He works for mostly the Pat Bev podcast, where he runs most social media accounts there. And he jumped onto the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast as well, too, doing their social as well. Jordan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for dealing with all our technical difficulties. We really appreciate your patience. I know we're supposed to start a little bit earlier than what we started, but you're the man for hanging in there with us today.
Yeah, no problem. I've been there millions of times.
Yeah. Technology sucks sometimes. So that's all I can say.
Sure does.
How is first of all, like, how are you doing? How's how's everything going for the NBA Finals?
Things are great. NBA finals have been the conference finals, they were really good, ended up being really good. I kind of wanted the Lakers to go in there, wanted to see Bron maybe get another that didn't work out. But I'm kind of glad the Celtics series got pushed to 7. You guys are saying you're Celtics fans. I don't feel bad, like I said. But yeah, things are great. I'm ready for the games to start tonight.
Yeah, it should be really fun and see what happens. Do you have a pick? Who do you think is going to win that?
I got the Nuggets in 5. I won. Jokic, like, their team is just looking, but you never know with how the Heat have been playing the whole year. So, well, not the whole year, the whole playoffs. So we'll see.
Right?
Yeah, they're on a heater for sure.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's been unbelievable.
Caleb Martin and all that. Yeah, it's really great.
It's crazy. Yeah, Caleb Martin looked like Michael Jordan in the Salt Lake series. I was like, where did this come from? But I want to jump into your background, Jordan, a little bit. And, I want the listeners to get to know you. You're big into media. You do a lot of social media content. You're also a freelance media. But where did your passion come for, media and getting into this field?
Yeah, so like growing up, I was always like a big sports guy. I was born with like a ball in my hand, baseball, basketball, football. But my mom actually recorded like everything I did. Like she taught me how to use a computer when I was like three years old. And she recorded everything I did. So I knew how to like video edit when I was like in like 6th grade. I used to just edit videos of like me and my friends like dancing or something like that. Like I actually knew how to go to like Windows Movie Maker, put like lights and stuff on, but back then it was just kind of like my hobby. And then I went to high school, still played sports all throughout high school. But still, like, video editing was my big hobby of mine, and I love watching like YouTube videos, like a lot of like mini docuseries on basketball players and stuff like that. So then by the time my senior year came, I went to prep school for basketball, and then it was time to go to college and it was time to pick my major. I didn't really know what I wanted to do at the time, but I saw digital media communications, concentration, digital filmmaking and editing. So I'm like, oh, like, this is something I already do in like my off time. Let me try it out. And then I'll say from there, like, kind of like took off. Like, I've learned more of the technicalities of it, kept practicing, and started my career pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So what made you get into freelance media?
So basically in college, I had to do, so a part of a requirement, we had to do 3 internships throughout your college career. So the first 2 I did, they were kind of just like Access TV or like local like video producer. It wasn't like anything with like sports. But then I started doing an internship with Slam, and that was like a crazy experience. Just like, it was during COVID, but I was still able to like hop on all these Zooms with players like Anthony Davis, like Asia Wilson. So I can't even name them all right now. I did like videos of Zach LaVine, Chris Paul. Like there, I found out like, okay, maybe like I could be kind of good at this. So like back then I really wanted to work full time for Slam, but it was kind of COVID, and nothing was really happening, but like they still were offering me like freelance opportunities, and also nothing was going on. So I was in my senior year of college, so my basketball season got canceled, so I wasn't really doing anything. And this guy I know that was training was like, oh, come film for me on the weekends, like you could do things like that, I'll pay you like that. I'm like, all right, I'm still in college, so I'm like, all right. Think of like a little bit of side money and stuff like that, but it grew to be like way bigger than that. So I kept freelancing for Slam at the time. Through Slam, I met a guy that does videos for Netflix. I did a few videos for Netflix.
Wow.
I started traveling with like a top high school team that plays in like the Nike URBL circuit. And I just saw like my chance, like all these different opportunities were thrown at me. And I still had like no full-time job right out of college. But I'm like, all right, I don't even really need a full-time job right now. I'm getting paid. I get to travel every weekend for free. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna ride it out, see what happens. Yeah, so that's really how like freelancing came about for me.
Wow.
That's so awesome. So that
Yeah.
freelancing led to so many cool opportunities, and obviously working for like Slam and being with them. But what obviously, first of all, travel. What was it like traveling? What was the favorite place you've been to, and like get the experience?
Um, Favorite place I've been just for like work is definitely either I love going to the West Coast. I love going to like Cali, Phoenix. I've been to a lot of cool places, definitely. I just love seeing like so many different walks of life and how like the lifestyles are so different. Like I'm an East Coast kid through and through. Grew up in Connecticut and went to school in Mass. Now I live in New York. But like even throughout my life, my mom will always have and dad always had me on a plane traveling somewhere. So it was easy for me to adapt and be ready to get on the plane, be able to drive 4 hours. That stuff was easy for me. So people don't really see like those nitty-gritty things, like getting on a plane every weekend, a Thursday through Thursday, come back Sunday, be able to leave Thursday. Like that's kind of hard to do, especially doing it 3 times in a month. But like for me, it was just so easy. I just wanted to keep learning. I wanted to be the best media person I could be. So I wanted to do everything.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah.
I know. That's great. Throughout all the travel and everything that you've covered, what have been your favorite shots that you've had or favorite shoots that you've done?
Favorite shoot. So that first year I was freelancing, I went to like the Nike UIBL circuit. So that's like the best high school kids in the country. This is my first tournament I've really been to because throughout college I was like still playing basketball, so I was kind of like not really able to do stuff that much. So, but I'm done with. I just graduated college. July comes, the coach is like, "Hey, you want to come with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, definitely." But we went for 2 weeks. Went down there. I see they just played a game. I walk in another gym. I see LeBron James. Like this is the first time I ever see LeBron in person. Go there. I'm like, oh, LeBron. Like I'm like kind of starstruck a little bit. Like it's kind of crazy. And then I see LeBron. I'm like, all right, let me just take some videos. Let me snap some pictures, like whatever. Took some pictures, posted them. Maybe like 2 hours later, I see like his family page posted. Like I'm like, yo, what? Like I'm still brand new to all. Like what I know about cameras now, I realized I knew nothing back then. I kind of was just turning it on back then and seeing what was happening. So then saw his family page posted. Then maybe that night, I'm just scrolling through on Instagram stories. I see my picture on his like actual page, like him and Bryce. That's a picture of him and his son Bryce. I'm like, yo, like this is crazy. This is crazy. Like that was just a wild moment. Then fast forward maybe a few months later, it was his profile picture. So that was like his profile picture for maybe like 6 or 7 months. So that was probably my most like crazy moment I've had with shoots like that.
That's insane.
That's so crazy. Did he know that you took it? Like, did it have like your watermark?
It definitely had my watermark. Then like Bronny has liked a couple of my things. Like Bryce is like, I feel like he doesn't know directly who it is, but he's probably like saw who it was. Maybe I try
That's so awesome. That's crazy. What EYBL team did you travel? Which if you were was it a Massachusetts team?
No. They're called New Heights Lightning. They're out of New York.
Okay.
I still go with them like now. So they're like really family now. They gave me like my first shot, my first opportunity to really like get out there and get my name out there.
That's awesome. I didn't know if it was Expressions. I didn't know if you were going from Mass. It was Expressions.
I know like a bunch. So now like this is my like third year doing. I know like a bunch of kids on Expressions. I know a lot of kids like in the up and down the East Coast, some West Coast. Like so now it's like became more of like a relationship type of thing. So it's definitely been cool.
That's so cool. That's awesome that you had all these experiences. That's so cool about the LeBron story. I wish he gave you a follow or something on Instagram.
Yeah, I wish he just like tagged me really quick.
That would have been really nice. So after all those experiences and you're going with Slam and your favorite shoot, what led you to Barstool? How did you get into Barstool?
So before Barstool, I was with Overtime. That was also a great experience. With Overtime, I was like a video editor. I got to do I got to work on a lot of different things, like for major brands like Nike, Adidas, like the OTE, their football league, brands like Ram, Ford, like just crazy brands I got to do things with. Then I actually just saw opportunity on LinkedIn for Barstool, and it was like basketball producer. So I'm like, all right, I'll apply to this. Started talking to them. They were like, oh, like you might have to move. This is like involves with the Pat Bev pod. You might have to move to LA. Like, are you okay with that? And I had never like left Connecticut besides for college. So I'm like, all right, like I'm down. Like, let's do it. Then they were like, actually, like you might not have to do that. We have a position in New York that we think might fit you better for the social side instead of like video producing. I'm like, that sounds even better, closer to home, but not. So just basically talk to them, did like a gajillion rounds of interviews, ended up breaking through and starting in, I think it was like around last Halloween. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
We'll be back with our interview with Jordan, but here's a quick word from our sponsor.
Welcome to Vintage Cigar Lounge, the place where you escape to, not from. A place where your cigar options are limitless. A place where friends come together and bond over the finest cigars and drinks. A place where your selected few can retreat to and enjoy premium cigars, great conversation, and your liquor of choice within the privacy of our private rooms. Looking for a place to escape to? Our doors are always open.
Hello guys, this week's Golf Cigar of the Week, Tabac Dolce from Drew Estate. It is the coffee infused one. We've got 4 different sizes and they're all great. Start your day off right on the course with these guys. See you next week.
What's it been like working on the Pat Bev podcast and $1 million worth of game?
It's definitely been fun. Like I'm just seeing like a whole different side of media now. So with like high school stuff, those things blow up, but like just like being able to like curate our own like media now, like if Pat Bev says something, I'm watching it, I'm like, all right, that's gonna blow up. And then like just seeing like the next morning, like every single Twitter page, every blog, every account, seeing like our post on ESPN or something like that, like that has just been like a crazy experience. Like at this point, it's kind of normal, which is crazy to say, but like when I like talk, like sit here with you guys and like talk about it, I just realized like that's like a big moment. And then $1 million, that's even crazier. Joining that social team before like Barstool, that was probably my favorite podcast. And then joining Barstool, they worked for Pat Bev. Then they were like, "Hey, you want to run the $1 million social? We need a little bit of help here." So I'm like, 1000% would love to do it. Just seeing like my favorite athletes, rappers comment on posts I'm putting up and what came from my brain, what I wanted to see on the page. I just love it. It's surreal.
Yeah,
That's
great.
That's so cool. Oh my God. Your experiences are absolutely just amazing experiences. And so you have full control of social. So you pick the clip that you want, or does that have to go through?
So basically my first day at Barstool, they were like, they brought me into the office, like onboarding me and all that stuff. They're like, all right, so here we love your voice. We want you to have full range. You're controlling the Pat Bev voice. Like no one's telling you like what to post, what to do besides like ads and stuff basically. But they're like, you're the one curating the voice. You're creating the voice for it. I was like a little like scared at first because I had never had a job where like I didn't have someone be like, oh, do this, do that. But like I learned now that I love it like that better. Like all the pressure's on me, and we're gonna like the post gonna like live or die with what like I think is going to blow up or do good. So they were like, yeah, curate your voice. We love your voice. We love how you talk on social. We love your ideas. we're gonna have people supporting you through it. And yeah, the same thing with $1 Million. They were like, oh, yeah, we love your voice. We know you love the podcast. Just mix the two and see how it goes. And it's been going really well so far. So
that's crazy. Yeah, because I've seen clips of the Pat Bev podcast go on ESPN and everything that you just mentioned. And we're like, that stuff. So all that's you. All those clips that come from you and stuff.
Yes. So like at first I was doing a lot of like the clipping, but we've kind of like reorganized. So now I'm like giving the notes on it. Can I have like this graphic? I think this graphic would do well. This timestamp would do well. Things like that. So we're creating like a system. So we might only be like 6 or 7 months in too, and it's like we're already like at 111 subscribers on YouTube, like 230K on TikTok. Like we're trying to cook. So
that's awesome. That's so cool. Great. That's great. Yeah, I might have to get some tips from you. Yeah.
What was I know you're doing a lot of covering basketball now, but what was your playing days like at Endicott and even before that in high school?
Yeah, definitely love sport. Like that was my first love. That was the only thing I ever wanted to do was play sports. Throughout high school, I dealt with a few injuries, had a few surgeries, but I still was like the best player on my team. Made like all state 2 times, all the newspapers 2 times, like, and then I went to prep school. After my senior year, I played with, it was called Putnam Science Academy. That was like a crazy experience. I played with like NBA players like Hamidou Diallo, Eric Ayala. He went to Maryland. Just the team had maybe like 12 D1 high major D1 kids. It was crazy. Then just choosing Endicott, I think it was just a great experience for me. School wise and team wise, met some of my best friends there. Played all 4 years, started 2.5 no year with COVID. Freshman year with the 6-man. It was a great experience. Learned a lot about myself through sports. It was just, I think me playing sports is why I'm able to succeed in what I do now, because it's all that hard work and sweat, waking up in the morning, like it translates to work, and now I'm able to apply it to my life now. So
it's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. What Putnam Science, did you win title? Were you part of any of the championship teams when you were there?
When I was there, we lost, I think, in like the semis or something like that, but they won it like 2 years in a row after that, though. Yeah, it's definitely a powerhouse.
Yeah. It's right around the corner from we're in Rhode Island, so it's like right over. Yeah.
Right up there, top right corner of Connecticut.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I want to know, what camera are you using now for your shooting and everything like that?
I use an A7 IV now.
What were you using before?
So I started when I first started shooting, I had like, my aunt had bought me a camera for Christmas when this is when I was maybe like, I don't even know. I might have been like a freshman in college. I was like, yeah, I just want a camera. My aunt bought me like a Canon Slingshot or something, I think it was called. It like zoomed in so far. The quality was probably like terrible, but I loved it. Like I was able to shoot whatever I wanted. Then maybe like 2 years later, I got another camera, the Canon Rebel, like another like kind of like beginner camera. Love that too. Then I had a Sony A6 500. That was kind of more advanced for me, but still not like the top of the line thing. Then I started to realize, all right, like my main thing was video editing at first. I was always like, all right, I'm going to be a video editor. But I realized that for me, like limiting myself to doing that wouldn't be like my best bet. I needed to learn how to run social, needed to learn how to work a camera. I needed to be like a jack of all trades. So then if someone asked me, I wanted to get a job, like I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. So I got a Sony A7 III. That's probably where like I saw my work like really grow and take off. And then recently I just got a Sony A7 IV. So
wow,
awesome. Yeah.
That's crazy. I got a Lumix. That's what I'm using. So I don't know. I don't know where that ranks on them. I'm still learning about cameras. So
like people always ask me like, oh, like what do you what do you recommend? And blah blah blah. I'm like, I honestly have no idea. Like I know I like Sony's. If I want to get a Sony camera, I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos, see how it's looking, see how yeah, pretty much.
That makes me feel better that you were using YouTube because that's what I did too.
That is the best teacher ever.
Yeah.
Out of what I learned is from YouTube.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I want to know like a couple more questions. On the social side, what's the biggest thing that when you're learning to grow an account, like what hashtags you use? How do you keep up with all like the trends and everything in hashtags?
Yeah, so I don't even really like use hashtags like that anymore because like on an app like TikTok, it's kind of like becoming kind of like my generation's Google pretty much. So you could type in something on TikTok and then you're gonna probably find a bunch of videos on it. So if say you want to type in like Pat Bev talking about blah blah blah, like that probably will come up. So I like to do captions revolving around like what's going on and how I would want to see it. Like if I saw someone like talking in like a commercial voice, like it sounds like an ad, I'm probably gonna keep scrolling. But if like it's like an interactive type of caption, like oh like this guy's crazy, how's he doing this, like blah blah blah, like something like that. I like to like keep it like lighthearted and like it's a conversation style, like it's one of your friends posting it. That's my method in like media.
That's cool. That's a good way to approach about it. Yeah, I'm not good with TikTok. I think that's past my generation. Yeah, I don't understand it, but so that's awesome to really catch on to it. And then any big plans coming up with the Pat Bev podcast or anything that you got coming up for yourself as well?
Yeah, Pat Bev Pod, we're just trying to continue to grow. This was our, like I said, this is our first like 6-7 months. A lot of podcasts don't even really get off the ground until maybe like a year and a half or something like with somebody of like Pat Bev's stature. So we're trying to keep growing, create new ideas, get ready for season 2 and get ready for the summer with things coming up, with the finals, the draft, summer league, things like that. And for myself, I'm just trying to continue to grow, continue to learn through with the social media side with Barstool and all that. And then on my like videography side, photography side, continue to grow like my own personal YouTube, using my connections through kids. These are like real relationships I have now. Like I saw kids like this kid, Elliot Cadeau, actually just committed to North Carolina. He's going there this year, but I've been with him since like his freshman year of high school. So I've seen him like grow. And now I'm like, if I feel like kind of old now, I'm like, wow, I can't believe like you're already getting old, like almost an NBA at your goal. So just like continuing to do things like that. I just know like if I keep working hard, doing what I'm doing, like the opportunities are endless. So who knows where I'll be in a year, 10 years from now. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it seems like you've had some great experiences. How old are you?
25.
Yep. Oh, yeah, you've had some great experiences. You got yeah. So you're definitely gonna go very far. It seems like you've already made a lot of great connections, and obviously working for Barstool that opens up probably a lot of doors down the line for sure. And and all the high school kids that you're working with and all that stuff. Now they're all getting to that age, Division I, and what you just said. So that's awesome too, man. So you got a lot of connections. The big things are coming your way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I wish I was 25 and doing what you're doing. So that's crazy. Is there one last question? Is there one player that you would really like to do like a video shoot for or anything? One NBA player or actor or anything like that?
One NBA player. I really would like to record. I would definitely like to like be hands-on with Bron, something like that before he like leaves. He's just like my GOAT. Like that's who I grew up watching.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. Then like maybe like I would love to like record a game or like Kyrie working out, just the thing he does with like the basketball and things like that. I'm kind of upset he like left the Nets, but I'll ask me if he lets me.
That's awesome. Hopefully you'll have one of those opportunities. I'm sure maybe you can do something. Hopefully, you can get a connection with LeBron or something like that to do something like that. We'll have to get you back on the show and check in down the line with
Yeah.
you for sure. Doing this. But Jordan, thank you so much for your time today. This has been awesome, and thanks for dealing with our technical difficulties on our end or anything like that. Do you have any questions or comments or statements before we sign off?
No comments, no questions. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast. Thank you.
Yeah, no
Yeah, thanks,
problem.
man.